Last year was the first time that I had ever grown Salsify. Now this Salsify plant is a biennial, so it will produce seeds in its second year. And so now being its second year, some of these Salsify plants have produced seeds, and I want to document that part of the process. Because to me it's not just about growing food and plants that produce food, but it's being able to collect those seeds and to continue that process on your own, right? Where you're not going to have to depend on seed companies or anything like that. When we are talking about the Salsify plant, that actually comprises a few different species and a few different varieties. Some of these plants can hybridize with each other, which may make this a little bit difficult or confusing, but usually flower color will be indicative of what type of plant you have, right? Some will have yellow flowers, some will have more of a purplish coloration, others can vary in between, but these flowers can be attractive to a bunch of different beneficial insects, such as different types of pollinators and bees. I really wanted to get out there this season and observe what types of insects would visit these flowers, but unfortunately every single day they were in bloom. I had to work, or I was exhausted or busy making videos, so maybe next year I'll be able to have that opportunity. So once these flowers bloom, they close back up, right, and the seeds within them begin to mature. And then eventually, after a week or a couple of weeks or so, they will open back up as a seed head, right? And this is very much like the dandelion. And in fact, they look very similar to the dandelion when producing that seed head, but just like 5 to 10 times bigger. So these seeds that are produced can be attractive to a bunch of different birds, like grouse, turkey, different types of finches. Definitely when I was going out to harvest some of those seeds in the evening, I noticed that some of those seeds on a lot of those seed heads would be picked out already before I could get to them. And usually this seed production will take, at least for me, between June and July. So that's usually the time of year, at least in this climate specifically, when I want to be out looking for these seed heads if I'm out to collect those seeds. Now, one interesting thing that's happened is that I had grown 5 or 6 plants or so last year, right, as like a trial run. I'd never really grown them before, at least not successfully. And this year, when they overwintered and they began to grow again, 2 plants sent up flower stalks, right, and they produced those seeds. But the other 3 or so, however many it was, did not. So they are still in a vegetative state. They've produced some leaves and are growing, but they haven't sent up those flower stalks. At first I was wondering if they would just flower later this season, or if they may not flower until next year, right? Maybe some of these plants are a short-lived perennial. I don't know, it's kind of interesting. So I guess we'll kind of see what happens with that, and then right now I'm getting ready to turn around and plant these seeds out into the garden now, right? This is when these seeds would be maturing and dropping to the ground, so I want to kind of mimic that cycle. I'm not planting them out just yet because I am waiting for some of that garlic to mature, the garlic bulbs, and then I'll harvest those out, and then I'll plant in more of that Salsify. And also I'll probably plant some peppers in there too, but we'll see. Alright, so here we have some Salsify seed heads. They're basically just like gigantic dandelions. Some of them looks like they have already been picked out by some birds. In fact, some of these may have been too, I don't know. But I'm just going to go ahead and harvest these by hand. But here's another stand of it right here. So I'm going to harvest these by hand and put them in a container, let them dry in the open air, maybe like in the kitchen or whatever, and then storage them. Well, actually, I might just plant them right away, because this is the natural time when they bear their seed, right? So this seed will fall to the ground and germinate, right? So I may just try to extend not extend, but try to work with that natural process, and maybe I haven't planted Salsify down this way in this row, so maybe I'll do that. I'll have to weed through it again and stuff. Yeah. Thank you so much for checking out this video on Salsify, specifically regarding the flowers and the seeds. It's a very gorgeous plant when it produces those flowers and those seed heads that look like gigantic dandelion seed heads again. So thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Take care.